Hello. In this video, I wanted to talk about the hornet's nest story. uh, this story took place in, I can't remember, I think it was maybe 2008. And in short, I was on a hike with my dad. And we stumbled upon a wasp nest, but we didn't see it. I think what ended up happening was that it was on a branch, or it really wasn't on a branch. I think it was on a very thick branch, but I think we had a storm the other night and it fell down. So it was kind of closer to the walking path on this trail. So basically what ended up happening was we were walking on the trail, and all of a sudden I think my dad accidentally slammed his head right into the hornet's nest. So we didn't see it until that happened, and we were being swarmed by hornets. So, yeah, it was not fun. I actually did not get stung, which I thought was very interesting. I noticed that there were a bunch of insects just everywhere. I couldn't tell what they were, but I was like, "Oh, this is something." And I didn't even hear the buzzing, and it was just so sudden. And I took off, and I said, "They're wasps, run!" And so basically, I got the heck out of there. But my dad got horribly stung, and we didn't need to go to the hospital or ER. And pretty cool that we didn't, because it is really expensive, and it would be, what are they going to do, put ice on it? Wasn't going in any type of would the right word be anaphylactic shock? He wasn't. He was good. But basically, the downside that we learned is that when they're swarming you like that, they apparently go for your eyes first. Luckily my dad was wearing glasses, so they didn't get him, but he ended up swatting off his glasses. So he got stung all over. The thing was, they didn't chase us. I thought they would chase us relatively far, considering we accidentally hit the hornet's nest, the nest itself. Not just it's not like we didn't get close to it. I mean, my dad didn't see it, and bang, he accidentally hit the hornet nest with full force of his head. So yeah, that happened. Yeah, we got swarmed. But yeah, the thing about them, they go for your eyes first, I believe, or that's what happened in our case. I think they went for his ears too. I think they stung the outside of his ears. It was so awful. And the funny thing is, that day we were doing a thing called geocaching. So we were actually off the trail for a long time, and it wasn't until we eventually... So we were trying to find a geocache, and in this area, it was really weird. We were I guess you could say bushwhacking, which in general they say you're not supposed to do. In general, I think it's because it destroys... you may be stepping on plants that you really shouldn't be. We didn't know at the time, so, we know now. But, yeah, probably a lot of geocaches are in areas that are not always the most accessible. And I think the rating was pretty high. We never found it, which was kind of disappointing, because, we were just, in the middle of the forest. But, yeah, it wasn't until we went back on the stone trail that we encountered the nest. So... yeah, so the thing that was awful about it was worse enough to get stung, but it was also bad because we couldn't take the same way back. So what ended up happening was, apparently we were not the only people to be attacked that day. So, what ended up happening was, when we got to the end of the trail, there were these other people there, and they told us that, they got attacked too. And they were nice enough, and they actually drove us back to the other side of the parking lot area, because we were a good distance away from where our original, where we started, where we parked. And so apparently they got attacked too, and they didn't know what to do. I think they said, um, I think they said that a biker, went through there and he got attacked as well, and he needed to go back to get his motorcycle. Oh, sorry, an important detail I forgot to say is, as I mentioned before, as they went after my dad's eyes, he swatted off his glasses. So we had to go back to try to find them. Um, let's just say I wasn't up to it. I was pretty young at the time, and I know, like, this was not going to end well. Um, and it didn't. So my dad got horribly stung again. My uncle was there that time. The reason why they went back was because it started to rain, and my basically, well, okay, sorry, I'm kind of telling the story weird. So the guy drove us. So after we reached the end of the trail, and the guy was nice enough to drive us back, we then my uncle met up with us for some reason. I think we were going to get dinner that night or something like that. I think it was a Sunday, and effectively what ended up happening was my uncle and my dad were like, let's try to get the glasses. So they went back and it was pouring rain. So they thought that under the cover of the rain, the hornets would not be able to attack. They were wrong. They still attacked, and my dad got horribly stung again. And but the funny thing was they couldn't find his glasses, so it was like, I guess they just got so horribly stung for, like, I don't mean to say for nothing, but that's kind of what it felt like. So the funny thing was, after we got stung again, my uncle didn't get stung, just my dad. They don't leave stingers in. They could sting again and again and again. But basically, they didn't find my dad's glasses, and we were like, well, what the heck? So apparently, some of the original people that drove us back told us that they ended up actually getting our glasses. Apparently, those people went to the hive again when it was raining as well to try to get the biker guy his bike back. And apparently it didn't work, and they got stung, but they were able to get my dad's glasses. So apparently, yeah, my dad got his glasses back, but they were broken. So apparently when my dad swatted them off, I think, yeah, it was either they were broken or they were scratched. We didn't get it back, but it just happened. So apparently the end of that story was that the people who were trying to get the bike back, they were waiting for it to get dark out, and they brought like a bucket of gasoline to pour over the hive, and they did. And the biker guy got his bike back. But yeah, there were a lot of people who hiked that trail frequently, and they got horribly stung. So, that hive needed to be taken care of. It was one of the hives, like, usually when it comes to hornets, they build their hive pretty high up in trees. Usually, sometimes they do, like, grow really, really, really large hives that, like, they may be, like, the size of, like, well, they may be, like, a couple feet long, but this one wasn't that long. It was probably just the size of a basketball. But yeah, they took care of it. I think yeah, like I said, it fell from a higher tree branch when a storm came by, but it didn't, like, I'm guessing the tree branch got, like, caught in, like, a nearby bush. So yeah, that is the that's the story. Yeah, it was really disappointing that my dad couldn't get his glasses back in the same shape. So my dad needs glasses for, like, driving and all that. So he had to. We had, like, a family friend who was an eye doctor, so he was able to help us get a new pair of glasses for my dad. So yeah, that was not a fun day. That was just awful. I think to a certain extent that really, like, freaked me out when it came to hornets and all of that, because they just attack. They don't give you a warning. Like, you're there. They don't, like, they're not like bees. Like I had a I had a teacher, and I went to his bee farm. He didn't have really a bee farm. I mean, he had a couple hives, but he had a farm, and bees are nice. So the one thing I learned about bees, as long as they're not killer bees, like we don't have those where I live, but bees tend to start like buzzing. I think they start like humming louder, and they don't just attack you if you get close to their hive. I think the only time that they'll attack you is if you're like destroying. Not that you would. I mean, I have no doubt there probably are more aggressive variations of bees. I mean, anything will attack you if provoked. Um, but yeah, it was a much different experience as we got really close to those hives. Um, and they didn't bees didn't attack us, but yeah, hornets they didn't give us a warning. I think there are some varieties of I guess the right word would be vesp, right? Or is it vespoids? I don't know. But there are some hornets that will give you more warning. Like they won't just attack you. Like I think there are some varieties of them that if you somehow get within the airspace of their hive entry, they'll start swarming because like you're blocking their entrance, and it causes a distress. So in that event, they will attack. So yeah, that is the interesting thing about them. But yeah, so that was not a fun day. And yeah, we were not expecting that. I mean, gotta be honest with you, if we were going to expect that in any sense, you thought it would happen like off the trail when we were in the middle of the bush. But no, it happened on the trail as we were going back. So yeah, very, very disappointing end to a day in which we didn't even find a geocache. But yeah, in the past I've also, where I lived, we've had a good deal of hornet nests. They try to build wherever they can. They mostly go for the gutter. We had ground hornets too, but yeah, it seems like they like to build in gutters quite frequently. I mean, not always, but that's our experience. But more often than not, a lot of the hornets that built near like our house, like more often than not, a big storm would come along, and it would knock their hive down. So it always seemed like it never seemed like the hornets really had a good time or success building within or near our house. But yeah, I thought I'd draw a hornet hive and try to draw some of them like on the hive, kind of near it. Well, as much as I can. But yeah, hornets are very interesting. They're like ants with stingers. That's always how I thought of them. Less friendly. But I guess they're just trying to live in one form or another. I think they could retract their stingers. I don't know if all varieties can, but I think a lot of them can. A lot of them could retract their stinger inside their body. Oops. Or something like that. Never been a big fan of them wherever I go. It's really interesting how they build their cone within the inside, and how they even store and eat insects, and how they're responsible for a lot of pest killing, which is extremely important. They sting a lot of spiders and caterpillars and eat them or feed them to their young for survival. And it's an important thing, I will say, or else we would be surrounded by pests all the time, and we would we would be having crop issues all the time, I feel. I heard they're really good. They're like they're the natural pesticide, but the downside to them is very few people would be willing to raise them near their crops just because of their, because they sting and they're aggressive and all that. So I guess that's another big reason why people don't try to maintain them in any way. Like, people will keep beehives on their property because, and sometimes they do have to like smoke them out in one way or another. But people aren't keeping. I don't know anyone that keeps hornets for their purpose to kill pests and whatnot. Like, I think that would be a cool idea, but like I said, I'm not messing with these guys, so I doubt anyone would be too willing to, at the expense of getting stung. But yeah, thanks for sticking around this video. I think I may draw one other hornet, maybe on the side over here. It's really interesting. If you ever do look at a hive, I think one of the indications whether they're active or not during the day, you could sometimes see a lot of them on the outside of the hive. They're kind of just there. I mean, more often than not, they'll probably wait near the entrance, but a lot of them do just stay near and around the hive and alert others. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool to add it to the top corner, considering I think it fits properly. I wanted to put it on a little tree branch of some sort to commemorate that awful day. But yeah, I appreciate you for sticking around this video. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. If you like the video, please like it. And or if you hate hornets, like the video. But yeah, if you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.